All right, so we're back again. We've already drawn our whole picture we have with our pencil, and now we're gonna start the Sharpie, the marker outline in black to then color it to move on to the next step. So once again, I have a marker, a black marker. If you have a Sharpie marker, or even if you only had a pen or a black colored pencil, a black crayon, because we're going to outline first in black all of the lines that we drew with our pencil. So I'm going to just show you really quickly this next step. So I'm going to start with maybe my ear right here. I'm going to outline all the details that I have, and then next time the next step is to color it in. Alright, so now I've finished doing the outline and marker. Now I just need to erase the lines that I don't need. Still see a little bit, but I'm going to color over it, so that's okay. Alright, so next step is, once again, we're going to add in those bright colors. We're going to think about, we've talked about before, blending. If you do have colored pencils, you can use colored pencils at home, or if you only have crayons, that's also okay. Crayons or colored pencils are going to be a lot better for blending and shading and creating different values of our colors, which if you have, please do use. The markers really aren't going to be good for coloring in your face because the way that markers work, it's a lot harder to cover big spaces like this. So please use either crayons or colored pencils. I'm going to use colored pencils because colored pencils are really good for blending, and we're going to create, like I said, different values of for instance, your skin color, and then you'll have some different colors and maybe some different values, which basically means how light or dark our color is in your hair, and then we'll have different colors that help us create different patterns in the background. So here's the drawing that we just finished on that step. So I'm going to get to start. Let's see, I'll pick a few colors for my skin color, and I'm going to start drawing half of my face lightly, and then I'll finish up drawing the other half. So I did, in fact, I forgot this one line. So this is going to be one side of my face, and it's going to be the other side. We'll do a different value. So I'm going to start coloring, and with the colored pencils, you don't want to apply too much pressure. You just want to color kind of lightly. If you hold your pencil farther back in your hand and apply an even amount of pressure, then you can color faster, and then you don't have to worry about the lines showing up. You definitely don't want to scribble on your paper, but if I like to move my hand quickly, so that's why it is coming up, I'm sure, very light in the camera right now. The other thing, once again, is if you have that piece of scrap paper, then you can practice seeing if you like a color or not. You can always test it out, which is always good before you maybe decide you don't like it once you've already put it on your artwork. So I'm going to keep coloring this. Once I get that initial color down, then I can always add another layer to it. If you are applying light pressure like I am right now, it's always better than going too dark, because once you go too dark, then you can't take away the color. So I got that. Now I'm going to go to a little bit of a darker color and start coloring the other side of my face. Once again, I'm still applying just very little bit of pressure because I'd always rather go back in and later. Okay, so we're just gonna start finishing up our portrait. I've got the basic skin color down, and I started on my hair, and now I'm just going to keep working on my face, adding different shades of maybe browns and hair colors, that different highlights in my hair to add in more detail. And I'm going to keep going with it as you are working on yours, and then we'll talk just about our background. And now the one last thing you want to think about once you finish coloring your face and you're adding in the pattern in your background, you want to think about the warm colors and cool colors, for instance, how those maybe pop really well together. So if I've got a red and this is a yellow, this is also a warm color. Maybe in the background of this little section I want to use a cooler color, so that because the Britto's artwork, when you looked at the examples, it's very bright, colorful artwork. So you don't necessarily have to do bright colors like Britto, but you want to think about your color scheme and using colors that work well together, because we want to create a unified composition where all the parts look like they go together. And the other thing is, by creating one way you can make a unity in an artwork is to make the parts look like they go together by having repeating. So I have all my repeating hearts in this section. In this section I have more repetition of the little blob shapes, and here I've got the stars. And the other way you can do that is by repeating your colors and your types of lines. So here I repeated the lines over here. So I'm still going to keep working. It's going to take me a little while to finish this, so I'm just going to keep on coloring. Alright, so that is it for this project. We talked about a few different things in creating our portraits. We talked about shading and blending our colors together and the different values. So for here I have a lighter value, and here I have a darker value in my skin tone, and different colors in the hair with the highlights. We also talked about the idea of unity, and that all the different patterns and lines and colors, that the whole picture the composition looks unified, like everything goes together. So one of the things when we're creating a work of art, we want to think as we're working that we have some repeating maybe colors, or here I have some repeating shapes in my stars, and balance, so that everything looks like it goes together. So once again, this is it for our Britto-inspired portraits, and we'll check in. I'll see as you guys are working at different paces. I'm not sure, but I will keep posting videos and little activities for y'all to do to keep you busy, or at least have a break if you'd like to keep making art. So thank you for tuning in. We'll talk soon.